Can everybody hear me? I don't want to blast you with, oh, it's for the video. I hope this not, oh man, it amplifies. Okay, so there are going to be, there's 4 lotteries, but every lottery has 2 drawings. First drawing is people that live and work in Somerville. Second drawing is people that don't. And afterwards, you don't have to write all the numbers down. You certainly can, but immediately afterwards, we're going to go back to the office and we're going to email the results to everybody. And if we don't have your email address, we'll put it in the mail. So you'll get all of the waiting lists for all of the drawings. Your application number will only be on the waiting lists for the units for which you qualified. So there's no reason to look at the waiting list for the 110% units if you aren't being entered into the 110% lotteries, because your number won't be on them. And when you received your application number, that's specified, you know, okay, congratulations, you're in the 80% AMI units, or the lottery for the 80% AMI units for a 2-bedroom unit, or you're in the drawing for the 2-bedroom 110% AMI units. We have information up here if you want. In this way, it's definitely very transparent. I mean, the people that are drawn first in the first drawing are the ones that are going to be moving forward in the process. And like I said, after this, everyone's going to get an email that's showing the lottery results. And then there's only 15 households that are going to be sent an invitation to move forward in the process. Because, going back to the first waiting list where there's 4 1-bedroom 80% units, we know that the top 4 people, because there are 4 units, will be given the opportunity to reserve a unit if they qualify. So immediately after this, we're going to send those top 4 households a separate email that says, congratulations, you're moving forward in the process. You have to submit all your income asset tax documentation at SEB by, it'll be a week from Monday. So you're going to basically have like 13 days to gather everything and submit it to us. When you received your application number, you also received a document requirements guide that specified everything that you need to have ready. You have to have 3 years of taxes. You have to have 6 months of bank statements. You have to have, 6 months? 3 months of bank statements. 6 months? 3 months. 6 pay stubs for all your jobs and everything else. So hopefully you have a file of all that documentation already. If you don't, you got some legwork to do in the next couple days, because there's going to be a lot of documents that have to be submitted. If you don't already have your taxes, you might have some issues getting them from the IRS because of the government shutdown. But you got that guide months ago before the shutdown happened, which did specify that you needed to have your taxes. So if you don't have them right now, or you haven't received them, it's unfortunately not an excuse that the government is shut down that you can't get them. You'll have to talk to whoever filed your taxes, or TurboTax, or however you filed those in order to get them, because you might not be able to get them directly from the IRS. So keep that in mind. Are there any questions about that? No? You all just want me to shut up so we can do the drawing? Yeah? This year's W-2s are not required because a lot of people don't have their W-2s. If you do have it, great, submit it. But we're not going to, we can't require that because a lot of employers haven't given those out. Any other questions? Is there anything else that you wanted me to go over? Okay, so again, you can see also real quickly on these waiting lists that, so for the first lottery, which again is made up of 2 different drawings, there's 78 numbers that are going to be pulled. 28 local households, and then 50 non-local. I guess that's the breakdown. I want to confirm that in my own notes. Not this. Yep, 28 and 50. For the first lottery, there's 28 households that live or work in Somerville that qualified for a 1-bedroom 80% unit. So yeah, I mean, if that's what you're in, you're one of 28. And then for the second lottery, it's 4 two-bedroom 80% units, and there are 35 households that qualified for local preference. And then the rest, it's odd that it worked out that there's also 78 people in that total drawing. And oddly enough, in the third total lottery, it's also 78 total households. The breakdown for that, though, is 36 local and 42 non-local. And then the final lottery for the 3 two-bedroom 110% AMI units, there's a total of 48 households. 24 of those are local, 24 are not. So we got a lot of numbers to pull, so we're going to get to it. Unless there's any questions before we get started. Okay. Does Dave need to speak into this when he calls the numbers? Okay.
Okay, first lottery.
There might be a couple blanks.
Sorry about that. A216. A088. A109. A074. A140. A102. A215. That's a blank. A005. A081. A153. A176. A226. A245. A183. A114. A076. A085. A247. A073. This one's a blank. A058. A129. A050. A030. A026. A152. A066. A037. A048. And that's the last from that drawing. Okay, we're going to start the second drawing for the first lottery. First number is A234. A063. A141. A065. A035. A049. A171. A053. A107. A001. A167. A128. A160. A184. A159. A191. A242. A149. A041. A068. A082. A101. A020. A027. A211. A078. A047. A123. A233. A054. A182. A223. A212. A105. A175. A083. A095. A177. A232. A248. A210. A262. A154. A151. A031. A144. A256. A174. A038. That's the last number for this drawing for this lottery. Sorry about that. It was stuck up in the corner. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. So the last number in this lottery is A021. And again, sorry about that.
All right, so that's the end of the first lottery. That's for the one-bedroom, 80% AMI units. The next drawing is for the two-bedroom, 80% AMI units. And what's that? Well, we can spin it after every maybe 5 or 10, but you don't have to spin after every one. And just to note, the ticket that was stuck, even if that was the first number drawn, that household was going to have the 29th position on that waiting list because that was a non-local drawing. But your point's well taken, I understand. So, yep. Let's see here. Yeah, no, we'll be here for 8 hours if we spin after every one. So we will, let's see. I think I wrote that wrong. It should be. Yeah, I just, so this is a second lottery, first drawing. And it's two-bedroom, 80%, and 36 local households. So the first 4 numbers drawn in this one will be the first 4 households that get asked to move forward in the process.
A006. A120. A251. A058. A179. A103. Okay, we're going to do another spin. A130. A121. A250. A183. A033. A069. A029. A190. A195. A238. A100. A126. A088. A096. We're going to spin it a little bit more. A162. A193. A072. A015. A005. A222. A137. A261. A097. A202. A077. A046. A194. A201. A017. A239. And that was the last number for that drawing. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay, this is the second drawing for the second lottery. So these are still households who applied for the two-bedroom or applied and qualified for the two-bedroom 80% AMI condos. These are all the non-local households. So the first number drawn in this drawing will actually have position number 37 on the waiting list because there were 36 local households in that first drawing, and those 36 households occupy the first 36 spaces. So again, the first number drawn here is going to have position 37 on the waiting list for the two-bedroom 80% AMI units.
Okay, first is A149. A204. A064. A246. A051. A203. A023. A148. A220. A132. A196. A111. A163. A157. A172. A011. A259. A254. A084. A019. A083. A192. A234. A099. A068. A135. A056. A188. A131. A141. A174. A057. A052. A212. A224. A044. A256. A229. A055. A079. A170. A156. And that's the last number for that drawing.
So this is the third lottery that we're doing now. This is for the 4 one-bedroom, 110% AMI condos. There's 35 households in the local preference drawing. The first 4 numbers called will be the first 4 households that move forward in this process. Yep, so 35, and then we're going to do, but there's, well, we're going to pull 35 numbers out now for the, again, the first drawing of the third lottery. A089. A198. A036. A104.
A013. A086. A040. A094. A173. A206. A165. A213. A253. A240. A133. A028. A093. A010. A217. A106. A243. A009. A181. A025. A004. A208. A136. A147. A060. A143. A113. A007. A158. A090. A142. And that's the last number for that particular drawing.
All right, now we're going to do the second drawing in the third lottery. So all of these are households who did not qualify for local preference for the one-bedroom 110% AMI condos. There were 35 local households, so this is all the non-local. So the first number drawn in this drawing will have position number 36 on the waiting list, and the second number will have position number 37. because again, all non-local people have positions on the waiting list behind all local people.
A045, A227, A207, A139, A150, A034, A164, A155, A112, A258, A146, A032, A180, A185, A249, A189, A043, A087, A200, A187, A059, A042, A231, A024, A209, A228, A003, A145, A022, A168, A110, A018, A092, A178, A260, A016, A221, A186, A014, A091, A199, A117, A012. Okay, and that concludes that drawing for that lottery. Okay, now we're going to do the drawing for the fourth lottery. First drawing, these are local households for the 110% AMI two-bedroom condos. There are 24 numbers in this drawing for this lottery.
First three. And the first three numbers are going to be, there's 3 two-bedroom 110% AMI units. So the first 3 numbers called will be the first 3 households to be asked to move forward in the process.
First number is A075. A214. A205. A134. A116. A118. A158. A138. A070. A127. A230. A208. A008. A161. A098. A218. A039. A089. A237. A206. A108. A255. A067. A243. And that concludes that drawing for this lottery. We'll move on to the next drawing.
Okay, this is the last drawing. This is the non-local households for the two-bedroom 110% AMI units. There's 24 numbers in this. The very first number drawn will have position number 25 on the waiting list because there were 24 local households in that first drawing. This is the second drawing.
A235. A062. A197. A002. A080. A219. A124. A115. A225. A241. A236. A125. A045. A155. A071. A252. A122. A061. A014. A166. A257. A244. A169. A119.
we have an empty room, except for Andres. So that concludes all the drawings, all the lotteries. I don't know where the camera is. There's a camera for the Alloy Lottery. Thank you.